What up, though? Welcome. Oh, what up, Herm?
The man, the myth, the legend.
Hey,
What's up, man? I
hey, what's
appreciate you
going
joining,
on?
man.
Hey, yeah, always, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on again. This is turning out to be quite a year, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. Best of my lifetime, for sure. We're already at last year's win total. We're
Yeah.
only 12 weeks through the season, 13th weeks through the season.
Yeah, this is good, man. I had an opportunity to sit there and watch the game, and I'm sure, like everyone else, man, I was like, you know what, damn, this is going to be a blowout. I was already on. I don't even go on social that early and start talking too much smack because I already know that anything and everything can happen. But I thought that they came out just smoking, man. And of course, the Saints didn't help themselves. They had some turnovers. They just didn't seem offensively in sync. I mean, that was, I will have to say, that was one of the worst looking offensive starts I've seen by a team, and definitely against this Lions defense in a long time. And the offense just seemed to be just running through them. So I thought this was just going to be a runaway game, but to see that they kind of had that lull and that collapse, do you get concerned about it a little bit? I think it is, because in this part of the year, anyone will tell you that has played this game, that has watched this game. This is a time of the year where you're accelerating. All teams are going to get better. All teams are going to be playing pretty much at their optimal level, that are looking for that postseason play or to have a chance to win their division. And right now, just having that type of lull and that performance where you just kind of disappear, I think you want to keep your eye on it if you're a coach and say, we can't have that, because you're going to face more elite teams that you won't be able to bounce back if you can't capitalize on turnovers, and if you can't sustain longer drives other than when there are turnovers.
And yeah, was that because of Frank Ragnar, you think, or because
Could be.
or because coaching?
I think it's players. It's you come out. I always worry about when you travel, and it's not like going all the way out to the West Coast, but there is something about when you leave and you're leaving a high energy game, you're leaving a high energy opportunity that you came from, and yeah, you didn't want to face two losses in a row. I think they allowed the Green Bay game to be one that I know they wish they could go back and look at. They escaped Chicago's game, which in all statistical records, and you look at the way that should have uncovered, they should have lost that game. They didn't. And so you're looking at a 3-game stretch where there hasn't been the consistency we saw that brought them all the way to that point. Now, having said that, a win is a win is a win. You want to win. They walk out of those 3 games, which I think, if you look at their performance, wasn't the greatest of performances, but they walked away 2-1. Now you're coming into these other stretches where you're going to be facing teams that we thought you're going to be able to walk through, are going to be a little bit of a challenge, and they know that there are some vulnerabilities here with this Detroit Lions team, regardless of what their record is right now.
Yeah, and I do want to ask you about who I think is obviously the Lions MVP of this game, which was Sam Laporta. He went out there, he had 9 catches, 140 yards, and a touchdown. And what do you make of his game, and can you take us inside the mind of an athlete? Because I know you've had a lot of games like that for yourself in the NFL. When you're just in the zone, you feel like nobody can touch you. What's it like that, going out there and playing a game where you just feel unstoppable?
Now, I'm going to be a sore spot a little bit for some of the Lion fans. We remember we had tight ends. We've had, if you start looking back from Pettigrew to Ebron to Hawkinson, and now you have Laporta. The Lions have picked some really good, I think, tight ends. Where they're going to settle in and how they're going to, kind of play out in the long run, that's been something that we've had to kind of wait to see. With Sam Laporta, he's come in and he has completely just taken the bull by the horns. He is out playing like a veteran tight end. You look at the size. I didn't realize he had the bulk that he had, and just seeing how comfortable he is in playing right now has become a tremendous asset that's going to just really accelerate the development of the passing game for this offense. Also, outside of that as well, it takes the heat off of a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown, who only had 2 catches. He had 1 touchdown. He had the 1 big play, had a big catch to keep the chains moving, and that was good enough because they were critical plays. But then Sam Laporta was really the dagger. He was really the one who put that hurt on the Saints defense, and they had no answer for it. So he's playing a very pivotal part. And I think right now, if you're looking at probably one of those silent offensive players who really has turned the corner and made this team really excel and be better, the big plays he's come up with, is going to be Sam Laporta. I think the same could be said for the tandem in the running back in the backfield. But Jared Goff's playing better. Amon-Ra St. Brown's being the star receiver that we know that he's really challenged himself to be. So this is a solid offense, if you look at it.
Yeah, Herman, for a minute or two, it felt like dominoes, like week after week, incident after incident. The city of Detroit and Lions fans had almost had seemed to turn their back on Jameson Williams and kind of lost hope in him. But you're one of the only people who kind of held firm on him, his potential, his talent. And now that I think he's showcased it consistently enough where I want him to get some more touches, man. Like, what's going on with J-Mo? And I guess them not looking to get him the ball more often. I know obviously schematics come into it too, but there are a couple of times, I don't know, I guess I know offensive coordinators can design certain plays for a specific guy to where it just goes to him for sure. And I don't think he's produced enough to where teams are triple or double teaming him for this not to happen. Why do you think they're just sleeping on J-Mo and I guess his explosiveness when he does get the ball in his hand? I want to see more J-Mo, man.
With J-Mo, it's a perception thing coaches got to be careful of and not to fall into. And I'm not saying that Ben Johnson ever is misusing. He's going to know better than me. He's going to know this offensive chemistry of his players better. When I look at a person like J-Mo, you can get jaded by the fact that he is a very fast receiver. You want to see him up the field. You want to see him attacking the safety and going up and going for these deeper passes and all those things. I think you can accomplish the same thing by getting the ball in his hands a little bit faster. Get him on those crossing routes, those underneath routes. Get him where he's running away from guys. Teach him really how to really get upfield, get into those soft spots of the zone. And once he catches the football, if he has separation, he has the speed to run away from people. So you can still have big play possibilities because safeties are going to play high. When he's in a game, the first thing you're thinking of is what? Because of his speed, the deep threat. You're thinking about, we don't want him to get to that middle or that deep level. You're not playing him as tight underneath because you don't want to be man-to-man too tight with a person who has that type of speed because he can leave you. So that's where I see the advantage right now that can be taken from this young man. And the confidence he's playing with right now, I'm feeding him. I'm going to feed him the ball because I see that he wants it. And when he gets it, you know what he's looking to do? Make plays. He's running with the football. And look, man, he's earned his way. He's blocking. He's doing everything the coaches are asking of him. He's been a quiet person. He has not created problems. I think right now you bring him along. And I'm not saying they're not. And it may be later on this year that he comes out and has this really, really explosive game that turns the corner for him. But I'm feeling much more confident about him definitely now that has proven to me that he is exactly what I thought he was going to be. And that was a player that could play at this level.
I know they call him way mo. I think he just needs way more touches, man. I need to see more J-Mo. Every time he touches the ball, it's electric.
100%. He's got to touch the ball. If he touches you got to get him more touches, and to do that, I wouldn't mind seeing him with 4 or 5 shorter passes, meaning that 5 to 12-yard range, and then allow him to break some tackles, allow him to use his speed. He doesn't seem like he shies away from that. So go ahead, take some chances with him.
And when you look at this offense, he talked about, I think they scored, 22 points in 7 minutes to start the game or something like that. And then they kind of let their foot off the gas pedal. And they stopped trying to do these shots down the field, what was really working for them in the beginning of the game. What goes into the offense that when you start off the game that hot, but then you allow the other team to get back into it? Why do you think the offense slowed down like that in the second quarter and then throughout the rest of the game?
Well, I don't know if it was as much what the Lions did as much as I think the Saints started to make some adjustments. Mm-hmm. To me, it looked like they offensively started to get the running game a little bit more involved. They started to really run more into the line versus trying to do a lot of the stretch plays, which they were just losing. They weren't able to get to the edge. They were losing ground. It was just not seeming like it was an offense that was in sync. They stopped trying to throw the ball deep downfield where you saw the quarterbacks holding the ball. And they got that weird system where they bring in Hill, and he's predictably running the football to the left or to the right. He's never really running into the line, and yet you can't stop it. That's who the Saints are. I don't think they're the most efficient offense. I don't think they're the best offense. I think they just got back into what they felt was their rhythm. Defensively for the Lions, they came with the pressure. They caught an offense off guard, but then once it had an answer, the adjustment seemed to come a little bit slower to me. It didn't seem that they really had an answer for now. This team has really figured out what their groove was. And again, that becomes concerning because this is a defense that has given up a lot of points. If you're looking at right now what has happened against teams, the offense has to continuously keep scoring. The only place where we saw the Lions really get blown out and beat up is against the Baltimore Ravens, and that was because the offense couldn't score and the defense couldn't stop anyone.
Herman, ever since the signing, my guy Spain's been clowning Bruce Irvin. He's 36 years old. He likes to poke jokes at him.
He's the elder statesman.
Yeah,
you know.
But he went out there, did his thing, and arguably, I know not in the prettiest way, almost sportsmanship way, but knocked out Derek Carr. What was your take of him and just 11 snaps he had and his impact in the game, and I guess in the locker room too, as a veteran guy who's won a Super Bowl?
The veteran guys are coming. It used to be where it was mandatory that you have veteran guys. You have players who have either played Super Bowls, won Super Bowls, have playoff experience, and so on and so forth, right? But I think when you bring in a player that says, you know what, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to come in and play as however many snaps you give me, and I'm going to try and make the most out of it. That's all you can ask for at this thing. No, whether it's a veteran player who has some notoriety and people know who that person is, but you always want to see the old guy go in and get it done. They're not hanging around for just to be hanging around. He's trying to win something. The Lions look like they have an opportunity still to win the division, but then also have substantial postseason play. But they got to finish it out. This is all about finishing, and if you can bring in veterans who understand what it means, it's not done until it's done. That's what you're going to get out of bringing in a player like that, especially at 36. I mean, you're in there to to get it done, to teach the young fellas you can still get it done.
And going from the one extreme to the other, from Bruce Irvin to these rookies, is like, how impressed have you been with them so far? We talked about Sam Laporta already, but Brian Branch with another interception yesterday. Jack Campbell played a great role getting back to his middle linebacker position, and I think Jahmyr Gibbs looks like he's going to be a stud for a while in the NFL. So what are your thoughts on these rookies and how they've been performing so far?
I really like what I'm seeing. Let's start with Jahmyr Gibbs. With Gibbs, when I saw him run, I mentioned this to some people, and if you look at DeAndre Swift and really how he ran, a lot of people would look at and try and say, well, how do you make the comparison? It's just the sheer fact that when they run hard. You get that with Montgomery, but with Gibbs, it's amazing to see. He's not shying away from contact, how he attacks. As soon as he sees an opening, he follows the lead, he follows the play, and you see that he has a commitment to trust the play. And in doing that, it's paid dividends for him, and it's allowed him to be a very consistent player, and he's looked like he's having fun. How many rookies can you say come in that are placed in that high pressure position that are having fun?
Yeah.
And also producing at the same time. And then when you go and you look at Laporta, like we said, killing it. You look at Branch and making an impact in the secondary. And then when you get Jack, man, I'm just calling him Jack. Jack's out there, man, just laying the law, because when he comes off the edge, and I love the fact that because of his size, they're moving him up, and they'll allow him to attack that line of scrimmage and also be that end rusher at times, which I think creates a problem because of the speed in which he gets up on the offensive tackles or that tight end. That's thought as being something that is problematic, but gives versatility when you can get a linebacker that size that can get out and make plays on the edge as well.
Now, I know we just beat the Saints. They probably felt like they were coming back a little bit there just to get smashed. They're feeling a little cold, a little lonely. I heard you got some new blankets for them to purchase, some Saints fans and Lions fans.
Oh, yeah. I end up every week, and just so everyone knows, we've already created this collection. It's got 32 different blankets in there with myself and Lomas, but it's really just a celebration, again, of what I love about this game, the sports, and the places that we've traveled. But we did do the Saints blankets, and ironically, on that blanket, for those who may purchase those, it shows us crashing into the Saints float down, in New Orleans. So we're down on Bourbon Street having a good time with the Lions float, making ourselves known, and we're knocking those court gestures off of all those Saints up off of that float in front of us, and it says crash. So we crashed the party. Everything's going well with that. We really appreciate the fact the fans are really loving the swag. They're loving the gear that we're producing. Got to make sure I outfit you guys with some other cool stuff that we got coming.
Yeah.
Not just for the Lions, but for all the sports teams and sports fans. But yeah, that's it, man. And anyone wants to see it, they can go check it out at hermanlow.com, or even they can go over to my website at hermanmoore84.com. So
make some great gifts for the people for Christmas too.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And also charity, man. We love charity. If you guys have any charities or have anything that's philanthropic that we can get involved with to support, please reach out to us. We'd love to make some contributions to that.
Herman, real quick before I let you go here too, because I visited New Orleans a couple times. It's probably one of the best things I've ever been to. I know you got to travel all around, both college and then professionally, and then afterward. Where do you rate New Orleans as like a party city or somewhere to go and hang out at?
You know what? I still don't know if I would go and say, okay, instead of going to out to Texas or going out to down to Atlanta, or if I would even say I would put that past Charlotte. All these other cities, man, have stepped it up. With the sports and all that, it's cool. It is what it is. I'm not. It's kind of my flavor, but it's not. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not all outdoors and all that stuff with it, but it's cool.
I love it. Appreciate you so much for joining us, Herman. Always amazing for us to sit down and talk with a legend.
Oh, let's do it. Thank you.
Appreciate Herman.
That's the man.
Make sure you guys head over to hermanlow.com.
Perfect Christmas gifts.
Yes.
If you need a Christmas gift for somebody, we got you. hermanlow.com. Make sure you guys go check it out.
Yep, and then Woodward 84 for 15% off too.
Yeah.
I think that's like a 48 hour, 24 hour discount code. So make sure you guys get your Christmas presents in.